Let's move on to one of my favorite basic shapes or basic functionality, I should actually say, in Visio, which is session variables. Why are they one of my favorite functionalities? It's because they are very, very useful for when you start to develop more enhanced, more advanced Visio files. So what is a session variable? It's actually a pair of key and value that exists in a certain scope. So these possible scopes are available within your entire cube session, or within your workspace, within your card, or even just within a certain Visio page. By default, when you define a session variable, it will be available within your entire cube session. So let's take a look at how to define them. We will create it in the default scope, so the entire session. And we will add a shape data, a shape with shape data, set var. So add our shape, set var, we can see it here as well. Add it. And then first of all, as we can see in our PDF, when we go to set variable, we can see we have to define the name of the variable, and then a colon, and then the value. So that's what we will do. I will call my variable my var. And then I will set the value to my value 1. And to make sure that we can see how it toggles, I will duplicate this shape as well. I will enter here set to my value 1. And here set to my value 2. And then I still have to change it here as well to my value 2. And then to see this, of course, we will need a shape that displays the value for the session variable. For that, we can use the one right above it, namely just variable as shape data, and then our variable name. So let's just create another shape, new one right next to it. So I will fill this with a different color. And then as a shape data for the shape, I will enter variable, then the name of my variable, which was my var. Save it. I will call this page variables. And then if we go back to our DataMiner Cube and go to this page, we can see nothing is filled in here. Well, of course, because we haven't clicked the button yet. And these are actually completely replaced by pre-styled buttons. You can choose to not do this, but you can find how to avoid certain styling or to set certain styles of your own through the DataMiner help. So if you look for set var over there, you should be able to find a lot more information. So if we click this, we can immediately see my variable gets populated with my value 1. And if we click this, it changes to my value 2. So as I said, this shows a button by default, but we can also make it show something else, and it has different defaults compared to what value you set in the shape data. So what we can also do is actually copy the shape over, and I can show this as my value 1, and then again a colon, and then my value 2. And if I save that, you will see that instead it goes to a drop down and it populates with the value of the variable. And if I change it, it will update my variable in all places as well. So again, you can choose which control. If you don't want to use the default one, you can choose which control to use. And you can also just use the styling that you have defined in Visio. But more info on that you can find in the DataMiner help.